Here we are, episode 2 of 3 of my Netflix Drive to Survive. A little watch along. I thought, what drink, because, you know, some of you in the comments think I've got a drink problem. Look, I like a tipple, but I'm not drinking every day of the week, I promise. I thought, what drink is more manly than cider? So I went with Prosecco today. Don't at me. We're on to episode 5. Let's not beat around the bush. I've got my normal microphone because the audio was last episode. So we're back to this. And yeah, let's get into it. I think this is Red Bull today. So this should be interesting. So we are at the home of someone I wasn't very kind to last episode. Christian Horner himself. To try to humanise the demon that he is. Oh, here's Jerry. Here's his little Spice Girl. She is still fire, not gonna lie. Christian is literally pretending to say Daniel Ricciardo's name wrong. What a dick. Pierre Gasly was the obvious candidate to sit alongside Max Verstappen. He was. You can't blame Red Bull for picking him. But the way things went, I don't think anyone could have foreseen. Oh, this whole episode just feels really awkward because I love Pierre. I really like him. I really like him. And knowing what's coming, it's hard to watch this. All right, we're at Monaco, the home of Prosecco. I need to go to Monaco for a race weekend. That's got to happen. I've been to Cannes before, which ain't too far from Monaco. Beautiful place. Very, very nice. Would thoroughly recommend. Christian's already emphasised how both drivers have exactly the same equipment, which makes the difference even more glaring, unfortunately. I don't remember Pierre getting close to Max at all during qualifying. I could be wrong, but I don't remember it. Christian has literally the worst. He's trying to banter with Pierre. So dead. Pierre's 2 pre-season crashes cost £2.5 million worth of damage. 2.5 million. We forget how much these incidents actually cost the teams financially. Even just doing the rear wing can cost hundreds of thousands of pounds. Christian's motivation is just makes me squirm, man. He's like the awkward dad who's like really, you know, confident, overly confident at like the parents' evenings. And walks in, struts in. All right, how's it going? Talking to all the teachers. Thinking he's the big time Charlie. I forgot how badly Charles messed up this race. Wiped out his right rear back. Just nailed it around the track. Ripped his floor to shreds. Something about certain drivers. Ricciardo never performs in Australia. Leclerc never performs at Monaco. Even in his earlier career, he's always had incidents and struggles. Arguably one of Lewis's best performances to keep Max behind him. I know it's Monaco, but his tyres were shot and Max had the performance. Although Lewis was whining the whole way around, which did kind of annoy me. Like, you've been dealt a bit of a dirty hand, Lewis. Just get on with it, mate. So we're at Canada and we're back to Helmut. Oh, Helmut. Gasly is poor. It's sad. Helmut does not pull any punches. He is a thoroughly, I don't want to say a horrible man, but I don't think he hides his emotions. I don't think he really gives too much of about how drivers feel. That's my honest opinion. So people have criticised this episode for making Max look like a bit of a villain. I don't think he looks like a villain. I think it's a very, you know, when you're being compared to a driver of Max's calibre and when you're comparing yourself, it's going to be very difficult to match that and meet that. Gasly wasn't good enough, and that's not Max's fault. As far as I'm concerned, he just wasn't good enough. Side note, Canada, I think, is probably my favourite circuit on the calendar, beyond Silverstone. I love Silverstone because it's the UK track. Not going to lie, I've been there. As a track, Canada is probably my number one. You've literally got Pierre's race engineer like, hurry up. And Pierre's like, I'm trying. I feel for the guy because he's clearly very, very talented. It shows you how much confidence. We're all just human at the end of the day. We look at these drivers as these inhumane android beings. They're just human, like all of us. And if you're low on confidence, doesn't matter what you do, you're not going to perform. Damn, man, you just got his engineers just hurry up, mush, push, go, come on. That can't help him, surely. That can't help. Like, you give him that instruction, just getting in and going at him. I don't feel that's going to motivate him. See, that's an important quote, right, from Christian. If he crashes a car trying, I don't care. And this is it with Gasly. He wasn't, because of this lack of confidence, he wasn't prepared to really put it on the line. And Alex Albon, when he came in, proved that he was. And that's why I'm not surprised they kept with Alex Albon, because yes, Alex made mistakes, but also he went for moves like Vettel on at Interlagos. Balls to the wall, went for it, made it count. That was a move Pierre Gasly would not have made during his time in the Red Bull, because he didn't have the bottle to make it. He does in the Toro Rosso because he's much more comfortable and confident there, and he's got the ability in that car. Rouen. I've been to Rouen before. I know Rouen. Is that where Pierre's family's? That's cool. That's cool. That's where they burnt Joan of Arc. Out of interest, if you didn't know, now you know. Oh, that is Pierre's mum with his old karting suit, bless him. And we arrive at Spielberg. Big expectations. We know exactly what Max did here, don't we? They're highlighting how much Pierre was just... The media was just on him constantly, again and again and again and again and again. That must get a bit boring and a bit draining after time. Unfortunately, that's what it came to. That's the thing. Unfortunately, his bad results then knocked his confidence, and then that created more bad results. It's just a self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it? And it's a real shame. It's a real shame. And the thing is, that's why going to Toro Rosso, all of a sudden that pressure was off. I don't feel like Pierre's race engineer helped him at all. You need a positive influence in your ear, especially when you're low on confidence, someone who's going to build you up and help you. And yes, Pierre didn't cut through the field at all. And you've got Max cutting left, right and centre. But at least plant some positivity in the guy's head, for crying out loud. That's what I mean. Max is driving with confidence. He's got all positivity. He's got Gianpiero Lambiase in his ear roll, giving him all the positivity he needs and all the support. And the team are all behind him. And he wins races. His engineer's just like, P7, Pierre. Max 1. Pierre? I mean, no wonder Pierre's like, off, mate. Leave me alone. And there we have it. Episode 5 is done. Let's not mess around. Let's get on to number 6. First shot, Pierre returns and is wearing a Toro Rosso polo. Why did they make all this noise beforehand saying he's keeping his seat, we're staying with him till the end of the season? Why say that? Why not just give the typical political, ambiguous, vague answers? Why be so specific that yes, he'll stay, blah, blah, blah? To me, that's just cruel, man. And again, that's just a reflection on how Christian and Helmut, neither of them handled this situation well. As much as I love Alex and I actually rate a lot of what Red Bull is, I like the car, I like the drivers, I love Alex, I like Max, I hope he wins the World Driver Championship. I like a lot of things about them, but I don't like Helmut and I don't like Christian. I just think they went about things in a really distasteful and inhumane way, because at the end of the day, Pierre Gasly is a human being, right? We're all human beings. We're going to make this a positive episode. And it's Alex. My boy, Alex Albon. I love him so much. Yes, I've heard about this being the Alex Albon's mum episode. Minky Medina. I love that he started the year and he's still living with his family and all his sisters. Oh, I love him. He's so wholesome. He's so just humanity. Oh, I love him. He's just such an awkward kid. I love it. He's great. He's like living I was this awkward when I was younger, and he's just living my dream. He's literally living my dream. First proper introduction to Dr. Helmut. Why is he a doctor? I've never actually looked into that. I should do a profile on Helmut Marko. I know you guys have asked for it. Some of you guys have. Is he a Dr. Dre kind of doctor or a clinically trained doctor? That was the thing. Going into that seat, Albon had proved himself in the Toro Rosso as much as Pierre had, because they both did very, very well in that car. They're literally discussing replacing Gasly from the promotional material. We're going to shoot you in place of that subject. That subject being a human being called Pierre Gasly. Harsh. And we're at Spa. Albon's first race at Red Bull. Gasly obviously got hounded by the media. But to be fair, after what happened at Spa, I think Gasly particularly... It takes things like this happening to put life into perspective. You know what I mean? Wow, I didn't know about Alex's mom. Jailed for fraud. Why is that a thing? Why? It's Alex's time to shine. Prime British bull media, that is. 3/10 off Hamilton at Spa in his very first drive. Decent. And yeah, obviously, like, they took an engine penalty. He started at the back. It made sense. Zero pressure. It was while the drivers were all doing their interviews, wasn't it? That the Uber accident happened. Can't believe I'm crying 2 episodes in a row. Oh my God, man. This is too much. Fair play to Pierre for keeping it together as much as he did in these Netflix interviews after that, because I'd be a mess, man. I'd be an absolute mess. I do, though, think that, in part, Pierre's amazing performances at Toro Rosso since he went back. I think, you know, losing Uber after all that Pierre went through, Pierre got demoted from Red Bull to Toro Rosso. In the grand scheme of things, that is still like, you're still driving in Formula One. And I think perspective was very much brought to Pierre's life with that incident. And I think that must have served as a master reset for him. How sad can I really be about this? I've just lost my best mate. Almost lifted that pressure off of him, because we're all going to the same place in the end. Me, you, we're all going to the same place. And to be actually confronted with that, to be confronted with death and loss, trust me, I know, that does reset perspective on your life. It really, really does. Right, so lights out at Belgium. Raikkonen and Verstappen come together. Here we go. Alex Albon closing in on Pierre. Goes for the lunge. Goes for the lunge. Go on the boy, Alex. Come on, son. Tesco own brand cheese and onion crisps. 77p for a pack of 6. Can't go wrong. Albon on Ricardo. He's a different gravy. Anyone who tells me Pierre Gasly is better than Alex Albon, you are so wrong. I just dropped some crisps. Here we go. Go on, Alex. Perez doesn't give the boy room, but he doesn't need it because he goes on the grass. Go on! 5th place from the back. You just see Lando Norris parked up on the side. Bless him. 5th place from 20th on his first race. Come on, tell me he's not the real deal. You got to say, Pierre finishing P9, Alex P5. They both got the best out of the hardware they were given on that race weekend, and that's all you can ask for. And there we have it. Episode 6 done. That was an emotional one. Episode 7. Let's do it. It's Ferrari. As much as I'm not always that kind to Ferrari, you can't deny their importance in the sport. You cannot deny the history. I would love to love Ferrari more than I do. I really would. It's mismanagement that frustrates me. It really frustrates me. I do feel that Charles and Seb should be like a Carlos Lando thing. Like, I feel like they are behind closed doors. Again, this is the thing. This is what Pierre did not do at Red Bull. Charles got in that car and set 7 poles, more than anyone else. Immediately hit the ground running. Sign of a top driver. That versatility, that ability to be given a whole new car, a whole new piece of equipment that you're so reliant on to use, and immediately switch it on and be number 1 so many times. That's why Charles is different gravy. I think he's World Championship material 100%. If you're going to tell me Seb will beat Charles that's a baseless statement. I'm sorry, it is. I know Seb won World Championships in the past. I did things 4 years ago that I can't do today. You know what I mean? I ran a marathon 3 years ago and I could barely walk down the street. And here we go. Seb spinning at Canada. Then be like, oh, I can't see that massive pink racing point coming around the corner. Let's turn in. And then Stroll did the same to Gasly. So everyone was stupid, as Charles would say. And while Seb was doing pirouettes and taking out mid-table teams, Charles was pushing Lewis. Arguably pushed him a bit too far, but won the race. Again, like at Spielberg, where the contrast between Verstappen and Gasly. At Monza, it was the contrast between Leclerc and Vettel. And that must have been hard for Seb to take, clearly. Because he looks like his dog's just died. He does not look happy. And the thing is, Charles hit the ground running. Yes, he joined the team being, you're very much second driver, Charles. If he's fast, he's fast. He's not going to purposefully hold back. Like, the more points he can get for the team, the better, right? So that's what you want. So we've jumped to Singapore, where Charles was pitted to basically let Seb get the undercut. Seb won. We know Ferrari gave that to him, don't we? We do. We know Charles should have won that race. This is the issue with team orders when you've not really got a clear 1-2, right? So Pierre Verstappen, clear 1-2. Bottas Hamilton, clear 1-2. Charles is quicker than Seb. I'm sorry. He is better than Sebastian. So you can't be telling him to stick behind. You can't be... And with an ego that Seb's got, and rightly so, 4 world drivers' titles, clearly, he's thoroughly entitled to feel that he should be number 1. Don't get me wrong. I get it. But that's obviously going to cause problems. And Ferrari should have just let them race more, I feel. They should have just let them deal with it. Because if you ask me, if they'd let them deal with it more often themselves as drivers, as adult males, they would have had less incidents. That's my opinion. Sorry, another point on Charles. Why he pronounces his name Charles, and that's how I would say it if it wasn't for all of the commentators calling him Charles. Just call him Charles. That's his name. That's what he calls himself. And it's how an English person would traditionally... This is what I don't get. It's all the English commentators saying Charles because they want to be, exotic. It's not even how he pronounces his own name. Just say Charles. So we're at Austin. The bumpy track. And we know who fell foul to the bumps. Will Buxton just highlighted a good point. You can't win a world driver's title. Yes, of course you can. But you can't realistically mount a challenge against a team like Mercedes when you've got the drivers fighting each other. Because then there's 2 battles. There's 2 battles going on. And that's why Mercedes have dominated, because Bottas has fallen into line. Although, to be fair, I think this season, I think he's had enough of being number 2 driver. I think he's had enough. So we're lights out at Austin. Seb lost seconds. And even before his rear left fell off, he was falling through the field. He must have had an issue before things went kaput. And then things all went very wrong. Right rear, suspension. You know what? I think it's harsh to blame Seb for this, because there was clearly something wrong with the car going into it. Because the way he fell down the pecking order, 7 pole positions. First season at Ferrari, second season in Formula 1. Charles is the real deal. If you ask me, Ferrari would do better to just put all their eggs in the Charles Leclerc basket. Get someone like Giovinazzi into that second seat. And there we go. Episode 7 done. 8, 9 and 10 left. They will be saved for the next episode. Back to the studio. Audio only Tommo here. I'm afraid I don't feel too perky, so I don't fancy being on camera. But I just wanted to say, once again, thank you all so much for watching. We finally hit 20k subscribers. It's insane. Please drop a like on this video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new and you want to see more. Not sure exactly when the next video is coming out, but I will be sure to let you guys know on Twitter. So follow me on there as well if you don't already. This is the Tommo F1 YouTube channel. Thanks again. Have a good one. Ta-da.